Welcome back to Epic 25. We're into our upper bracket finals at long last between Fierce Esports and Ferrari Because we're actually not even going to waste any time on this one, Yumi. Of course, I'm SwitchBladeJ. Joining me is Yumi for this particular matchup. Straight into Inferno for this one. Kind of caught off guard by how punctual the players are actually here for once.
Yeah, I think Fierce were actually chomping at the bit to get the game started. As far as they were trying to get the game started at about 3 o'clock, but they kind of had to wait around just to get
for us
things
to have
going.
to
Yeah,
pretty much.
and unfortunately, we don't get to kind of go into map picks or anything like that. Obviously, it would be kind of interesting to see based on the fact that Ferrari Peakers are a mix and Fierce are a full-on team. But I'm sure that we'll get that information relayed to us at some point coming forward. But so far, we should be seeing some early mid control taken by Ferrari Peakers. Swaggy falling back based off the fact that a smoke was thrown towards Moto, and that will allow them to get up to short. Hype, he sits in the pit, and he's able to find a few engagements. He won't land the shots, and his teammates have fallen in the meantime. He won't actually get a kill for himself, and that will be the A site conceded, the bomb planted now.
4v3 retake for the against the Fierce side. I really should say Ferrari Peakers have all the angles locked down. Players in towards the pit. Quite a bit of a bunch coming up towards the A-bomb site itself, but it doesn't matter too much because Whisk is doing work as he takes KPs out and leaves it to Emin and Fazan. Makes a quick peek through the smoke, gets shut down. Emin going to get turned back around as well. And Lazza is going to be one of the 2 players remaining that takes the pistol for the Ferrari Peakers side. Quite a nice, easy enough, like just sort of like execution that came through towards that short area, and the player towards pit in particular, I think kind of fell behind a little bit for the Fierce side. He didn't really take any shots, didn't try and deny Ferrari Peakers any sort of access at all.
Yeah, and they weren't looking for any sort of mid control at all. They allowed Ferrari Peakers to just creep up all the way, and then as soon as that smoke comes up, they just rotate towards that site. But now Fierce, they will just be on the singular deagle and the 4 USPs in the hands of these defenders. So then we'll go for that initial pick with the deagle towards Banana, but ultimately control will be conceded. But they do have 4 players stacked up towards that bomb site, Fierce. So if Ferrari Peakers aren't too careful and they maybe get a little too hasty in their decisions, they could walk into that. For Ferrari Peakers, they're playing things slow. They're trying to be as meticulous as possible, especially considering that they have those SMGs and the 3 AKs in their arsenal.
They're going to go Hype's position as well. He's going to try to see if he can push forward, try to get a bit of information, maybe a kill with the USP. It's unlikely, but you can see how many T-side players he's got himself around. If he keeps going out from this Mexico position, he could even catch off the bomb planter. So the backstab's working really well, but Ferrari Peakers got a very similar idea going out towards Speedway, going to try and converge into the B-bomb site from both angles. So 50 seconds left. It's all going to rest in the hands of Hype. How much can you do before the execution comes in? Apparently nothing. Tim and Fazan are quickly taken out. They'll still hit the B-bomb site, so there's a chance for these Deagles to do some damage, but both players are going to get taken down. We'll get one on the way out, but it's not going to be anything much for the side.
Yeah, that timing is so unfortunate for them because he's thinking he's cleared all of A and that maybe archers wouldn't be exposed, but somehow he's managed to bypass those players and they've crept in through and flanked out those B players. So a full buy will come out now, and we do see Swaggy on the AWP. He has been very good and he's picked it up numerous times throughout the tournament so far. And I'm very interested to see whether he's going to be able to get anything from it. In fact, I think a missed jump has sort of deterred him from going for that mid pick.
They're just going to trust that they're going to hold it down passively. Fortunately, no one from the T side is going to challenge that mid area. So we're going to come down to this banana default. The Ferrari Peakers have set up 4 players, including the bomb ready to execute. And it looks like they're going to go in for the early execution as well. Smoking towards the main area. No other flashbangs to follow up other than the one that was just thrown. There's been the Fierce like a bit more of a passive stance going out towards the back of the bomb site. And following in from Coffins. Still lots of time for Ferrari Peakers to play with as well. If they want to rotate, they can do it. Casual resmokes coming in from the Fierce side might try to see if they can force the issue, but by the looks of things, that last lurker over on the A half of the map is just going to join the main force of Ferrari Peakers. Going to want to commit to this. KP's first line of defense. How much can he get done alongside Fazan? Molotov's in. KP's going to get caught off guard. They all cross with great flashbang timing, but they don't have KP's on the bomb site. Taking 2 quick frags. Teammates to rotate in. They actually kind of see every vision. They're going to back turn. KP's gets the triple. On for the headshot on the fourth. Lazza trying to recover it, and he will be able to do so, but he's in a 1 versus 4 bomb drop. Fierce have the AWP on the cross, and they will lock down their first round.
KP's knocks that down almost single-handedly. Gets those first 2 kills, manages to stay alive, and actually the fact that he hasn't heard any sort of aggression from Ferrari because nobody's going aggressive to chase that frag. he's able to reposition and get 2 more for himself, so fantastic job from him. But Ferrari Peakers, they executed into that bomb site, still waiting for that CT smoke to bloom. There was the player in CT that was caught off guard by the fact that there was no smoke and 2 players attempted to cross. That said, Fierce, they do pick up that first gun round, and now Laza, he'll open things up nicely for Ferrari Peakers to start things off. There will be a little bit of counter aggression, it seems, from the Fierce side. They will take top banana control all in the meanwhile. While Fierce, they've positioned themselves towards middle, and it looks like they're considering ending towards this A site as they've completely conceded the whole half of B.
Yeah, the Fierce could potentially work off this. You can see the players are slowly moving up towards that banana position. They're going to try to play contact and rotate that third player into the A bomb, so they're actually going to go for the full-blown backstab, and this could work wonders. Looking for Zan, taking the head off of the first. Next player's down. Emin will get traded back by Whisk, however. Ferrari Peakers, going to line it for Hype. He connects himself too. KUP is traded back towards the second position and still leaves it to a 2 versus 2. So Fierce aren't quite out of the woods just yet. Fazan going to back off, see that shadow, trust if he can get to a much more stable position. I don't know if he's been spotted. And Hype desperately trying to get any information that he can. They have locked out this mid area, so there is potential once again to gain control.
Yeah, they don't know how far Fierce are going to push off that flank. Hype has called out that first player in Boiler, and he's going to be pressured very heavily there. In fact, go for the double team, but Hype knocks them both down. Does it all for the Fierce side to make sure that they get to that second round, and they hold onto that AWP as well. Fierce should be, Ferrari Peakers should be knocked down onto an eco, just Glocks in their arsenal, maybe a P250 or 2, but not too much else. And fantastic job from Fierce taking that initiative, given that they gave up that first kill earlier on into the round. This is pretty much a throwaway in this one. It's trying to do as much damage as possible. Swaggy will find the first pick with the AWP, but nothing going too out of the ordinary so far.
And made control and the full control for the Fierce Esports side for IP, because as you say, more of a throwaway round, see how much damage they can get done with these upgraded pistols. Maybe see if they can get a bomb plant out of it. I mean, certainly if they try to flash smoke into the B bomb side, that's possible. But Fierce pretty much set up for every occasion, I think, from this T side. Again, that first frag coming through from the AWP, Whisk already dead. Let's see what Ferrari Peakers can do. They are going to start to aggress this orb, but ooh, a leg shot land by Swaggy. Unfortunately, Orb will get dealt with. Laza going aggressive. Can't question the land I think he wants. So a little bit of danger quickly dealt with by the Fierce side. All 5 players are going to stay alive and go into the rifle round of the 6th round, it seems. 4 AKs coming through. Not even an AWP for Aussie himself. So 5 AKs out. Limited utility for that T side, but still enough that should get themselves set up. I mean, certainly Ferrari Peakers are a team that relies a lot on their firepower. They've got some of the best in the UK in this particular mixed team. So coming into this one, take a look at the defaults. Swaggy with the AWP straight into the mid position. Not going to catch anyone off. The banana aggression might end up favouring this T side.
Yeah, Swaggy's up for that aggressive peek into second middle and gets spammed down very, very low. The flash will come through to save him, and he's allowed to back off, but a missed shot and an opportunity for him as well. So that small bit of presence being made already will start to funnel these Ferrari Peakers players towards the B bomb site. They will take top banana control. They will set themselves up for a few smokes and grenades, but ultimately still not too sure whether they want to pick up the pace and commit to this site. There's still 2 players jiggling on the Fierce Esports side. They're actually thinking that they should hold on to all of their utility. They're allowing the time to wind down. In fact, in the previous round, they had held onto those Molotovs for such an execute. And so, should they commit through with these 2 smokes deployed, there could be Molotovs and a whole lot of firepower on the other side.
A whole lot of firepower indeed. Capers hold the defensive well a few rounds ago. Backed up by Fazan. They're going to try to see if they can do the same thing again. Instead of from Capers, now he's getting antsy. He wants to back force away. Force 2 players out. Ooh, the spray, the taps almost found with a headshot of 1. It's going to be Dom that opens things up. Traded back by Swaggy over on the A bomb site. The lurker is down. Ferrari Peakers need to commit to this B bomb site. Fazan's going to read it. Capers once again still here towards New Box, letting 2 players cross. The first headshot, Fazan is going to get taken down. Capers dealt with, and Swaggy falling as the backup. It's too late to arrive. Hype. Not much he can do from this position. This will be a 3rd on the board for the T side. I'm trying to look for the exit here, but best for him to just save this M4 and just run away.
Yeah, and because that smoke timing was so good by Fierce, you saw that the Ferrari Peakers were just, although they had made that execute, they had maybe expected a rotation to come through and that they could potentially take advantage of that fact, but the lurker, he's able to find one, but dealt with almost immediately. It funneled them in. They had no utility to flush out Capers. So that duel at New Box was very, very crucial. Hype Still taking down one more player as he does now retreat with that M4. They will have good money on the Fierce side still to play with in this next round, but able to get a little bit more for thanks to their bucket lead as we do move forward. As we have now equalized things at 3-3 apiece. Ferrari Peakers able to convert that round, hold on to 3 weapons themselves. They do have the AWP onto Lazza. We'll see if now that they've got all of the Molotovs and all of the smokes that they could possibly imagine in terms of taking map control early on in this round, how they want to play things out, because typically they've been taking banana control, but it's not been met by any aggression from the CT side.
Starting banana play from both sides, just nades and Molotovs trying to, they can restrict Fierce from going aggressive, counteracted by more Molotovs in. Finally, they will burn out, and Cave is looking for his first position. Nades come back, meanwhile, over towards the mid control, and particularly the apartments control. Hype's going to lose a lot of HP. Bang damage coming through from Dom. Ferrari Peakers play around these defaults. Cape is starting to get a bit more aggressive. He could find his first, and indeed he does. Adam down. Couldn't quite line up the second collateral through that smoke. Not a major problem for the Fierce side. They have got the opening frag. And try to see if they can wear thin the Ferrari Peakers squad. 4 players left in play, unable to get this straight. And the Cape is still holding an advanced angle. If they push forward again, this could be another kill. They try to go to sandbags, this could also be another kill. You know, Fierce have got this pretty decently locked down from just this one position. Fazan now rotating into support. Flashbangs and smokes might get set up here. Cape is, maybe you're getting a bit antsy going around this corner. Just got to wait for a second kill to come through. Spots the gun barrel, waiting, patient. Oh, he shoulder peeks and baits it. And now the push will come through.
Molotov really started to mitigate some of this aggression, slow them down as they decide to commit to the site, but so far the kills have gone the way with Ferrari Peakers. Fazan still sits in new box and he's going to try and flash himself out. The Molotov will actually finish off the job, and Emmett takes a whole lot of damage through that smoke. And into this 2 versus 3, it's not going to look too good for Fierce Esports as they only have 2 players alive and they're so low HP. Don't think they're going to be able to find the trades necessary and get the duels as the smoke was deployed CT. They do have a lot of flashes, as well as a couple smokes and a Molotov that they could utilize, but more comfortable to carry that into the next round as it is pretty much a lost cause on that B site.
Yeah, 2v3 retake, no matter what the HP advantages are, you know, you're never going to be able to win that out. And it doesn't help the fact that Ferrari Peakers do have 2 players on 100 HP, and Fierce are very, very heavily tagged up. You know, I've seen 4v3 retakes that CTs have just like, you know what, we're not going to have any part of this. So it's not a surprise at all that Fierce are just like, yep, let's save these rifles. It doesn't mean they'll concede the lead over to the favour of the Ferrari Peakers side, but it is looking towards that greater good because the economy should line up to a bit of a force buy here. It will be very, very awkward, so they're actually going to take a pause for this one and try to see if they can figure things out in the tactical.
Yeah, and especially because Ferrari Peakers are a side that Fierce throughout the entire tournament have been able to consistently almost stop their opponents, despite the fact that teams will be very, very close, or very high-seeded teams will go very, very close against each other. Fierce have been pretty dominant so far. They'll be giving a lot of respect to those high-seeded teams, and Ferrari Peakers are no exception. They're definitely going to be making sure that they can take as many advantages as possible, but also not give anything away if it's at all within their power. Sometimes the players on the Ferrari Peaker side might just have a round, like the likes of Lazza from last tournament. I think he actually won with his mixed team. He was pretty much unstoppable. Nobody could outduel him on that AWP. And if they have a round like that, then suddenly, even if you have a plan on Fierce, it could just get picked apart.
Yeah, and just focusing on Lazza individually, you know, he's such a staple part, I think, of top-tier Counter-Strike in the UK, just because he's been on so many rosters that I can think of being incredible. Particularly Endpoint, obviously, is one of the main ones. But, you know, in the past, generally competing at the top level of the UK scene, he really is such a major powerhouse for the Ferrari Peakers side. Adding the likes of Aussie, you know, Vexed is a special player that they actually almost were able to win. I was going to say they did win I-61 with, actually. That was a very, very good start for that organisation in the UK scene when they decided to join it. So for them, they have a lot going towards their favour. For Fierce Esports, they don't have a lot because they've only got to use these 2 M4s that they were able to save. They are going to put it both towards the same position, so they know where they've both gone. They're going to realise the rest are just pistols. That being said, though, the banana engagements have gone to the favour of Fierce. It's a 3 versus 2 scenario, all to the favour of that CT side.
Yeah, and Ferrari Peakers have doubled back to just make sure that those guns aren't retrieved for the Fierce Esports side. They were a little bit timid in pushing out because they didn't want to give up that numbers advantage, so they will back up into the site, and Whisk, he's going to be hot on the entry. He actually spots the shoulder as he comes on through, and the only player that's close enough to contest this is Capers, and he's just in 8 HP, sits in the smoke. He's waiting for his teammate to rendezvous at his location. In fact, he's going to set himself up for a pop flash play. But the Ferrari Peakers, they're taking good post plans. I doubt they'll get caught out by this. Whisk not backing up at all. Neither is Lauza. They'll both win their engagements, and Ferrari Peakers, they get a 5th round on the board as they close out that anti-eco. Got a little bit scary there, especially because they lost that numbers advantage so early on.
Yeah, and like Pause decided not to go for the investment. They're going to look towards this round where they're going to get a little bit more out. The 5 M4s as opposed to just the 2 and maybe a few SMGs they would have had in that last round if they decide to force up. Lacking in the head armor. Not a major problem, although that being said, Emin has bought a head Kevlar. They've got 5 AKs out for that T side. Could have used that to put a little bit more utility behind. It's a bit of a miss-buy there from that Fierce side. Still 2 rounds in the Ferrari Peakers lead. Fierce have the rifles they need to get it done. Using a lot of the utility that they had early on. Try and trade wallbang there. Finding the peaks come through from the Ferrari Peakers as they make their way up the stairs. Force hype off of angle, 19 HP. Not the best of starts from Fierce in this round.
Apartments controls conceded, but Fierce Esports, they do hold onto the deep banana. Ferrari Peakers need to be at least a little bit concerned of that flank should it come through. But now that they've taken brackets control, they're going to try and reposition around the apartments, maybe feign some of these players falling back towards B. In fact, it does seem like the bomb is rotating back towards banana, and with that player down so deep, it would be very, very difficult for him. He needs to pull up a multi-frag here, otherwise there's only one defender on the front line. In fact, he gets absolutely nothing. Molotov'd out. Whisk is actually there on the entry. And they're Fierce are rotating an additional player B, and the hit is actually going to be coming out towards A. Swaggy will deploy the Molotov, but Adam is completely beat the timing. Fazan will at least spot him out. But now with 30 seconds remaining, Ferrari Peakers, they need to make a move. They need to progress onto the site, and the flashes will now come through.
But Swaggy lines up the headshots, and he shuts 2 players down, dropping the bomb pipe. Going to try and provide support. He can't do much with 19 HP, but he can aggress them, try and stall for a little bit of time, buy some time for the rotations. He will go down. It will be the retake against the CTs once again. A 3 versus 2. Favor to Ferrari Peakers. Emin and Fazan have a lot of work to do in room. No flashes, no defuse kit on either player. This is going to be difficult to find the save once again, but for Ferrari Peakers, play it around the defaults, just hold onto the bomb site, use the smokes, use the Molotovs to try and keep Fierce from pushing forward. And while it was a good attempt from that CT defensive, it was just not enough and not in time. And I also got to give a lot of credit to that T side, the way that they played that T side particularly. You know, Whisk obviously getting that pick on the first player in Banana. As soon as Ferrari Peakers saw that, they knew, right, this is a contact player towards B. They're going to be rotating one player from long back. So we've already got our presence towards B. We've already played out that default. Let's just go. We'll run a little bit low on time. Let's just go quick into that A-bomb site, try and overwhelm them. And that's what ended up working out. That's great game sense from Ferrari Peakers. And again, that's the kind of game sense that you would get from the likes of Lauza and Ozzy and Whisk and even Adam and even Dom for that matter.
Yeah, they understand especially that those comms and the rotations are so important, because Fierce's economy wasn't fantastic. They needed to set themselves up to get trade frags on the execute, and if you don't have flashes or Molotovs to work with, then you're not going to be able to establish a retake or even slow the offensive down. But it does seem like we have a bit of a match pause. Once again, maybe reconsidering or discussing things through, as Ferrari Peakers being a mixed side, Fierce Esports will be a little bit sort of maybe at least thrown for a little bit of a loop, the fact that they've come out and been so structured. And I think earlier we actually heard a bit of a splash. Someone's just pouring water out his boot, making sure.
I think that's a what's it? That's like a bug of some sort. Like I know it's some sort of like I know some sort of like sound cue or something that sometimes comes up when I can't remember what the bug specifically was, but I know it's some sort of bug in relation to something to do with movement and tick rates and things.
Right. Okay.
It's very, very awkward. I remember seeing it in like a 3 clicks Philip video at one time. I love that guy. He's a great content creator. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure in my own kind of mind. I imagine there was probably a technical course to try and sort that out. Either way, it's not going to affect much going into this next round. Fierce, once again, down to just 2 rifles, not going to invest because they know that they probably could get more out of the next round. They decide to save for those rifles, and Ferrari Peekers, they know this. They're going to start peeking in towards mid. No trouble, no bother for them. They can swag it to 7 HP. Hype and Emin might want to try and think about their new positions, however. They pushed aggressive into the apartments, not going to see anybody, so they know if Ferrari Peekers are going to take map control, it's going to be all towards mid. Meanwhile, the hit coming in towards the B-bomb site. 2 players down already. It's 5 on 3.
Yeah, and Adam's just going to continue probing in, just seeing if he can't find more of these fierce players. They're going to potentially start to rotate over, but Emin, he got the first, he wasn't expecting the second. Now, because he's not been met with any counter-aggression on that A site, or on the B bomb site, sorry, the bomb is making its way up Banana, and they should be able to secure that plant. But the small silver lining here is that Fierce, they've been able to recover 2 AKs. They'll try and flank it through middle, but Whisk is there to clean things up.
Yeah. A bit overzealous. I mean, personally, if I got those 2 AKs, I would just back off like 9. Okay, we've got extra firepower for the next round. So couple that with our buy up, and we should be able to get AWPs out. We should be able to get M4s to back everything up. That should be more than fine. And we have a little bit more economy to potentially force back into the next round. Obviously, that's not what Fierce were going for. They were trying to do more damage than anything else, which is also another probably more beneficial outcome to that sort of like half round. We're able to get the opening frag for this one, however. First kill on the AWP, Emin straight up towards the mid position. And Aussie is down. This is still moving in towards a trade frag, however, and catches Swaggy off guard. So quickly training back, Bazan towards the... Oh, he just barely spotted him. He may have reacted a little bit less... If he reacted a lot more slower, then maybe Bazan could have gotten that frag, but not quite expecting it either. We'll reface eventually with the flashbangs and Molotov coming through. Take down Adam with in the face, connects a spray on 1, and does damage to the second. Completely blind, doesn't know that he's done it. But 3 versus 3, and all players are tagged up, it seems.
Yeah, and Fierce Esports, despite, I think regardless of what happens in this round, if they commit to either of these bomb sites, I'd expect Fierce to fully commit to the retake, because as much as you want to save these weapons moving forward now, you have to really start answering, someone needs to step up. We need to have a round where we pull it back and actually start getting rounds on the board, because if Ferrari Peekers are allowed to continue building this lead, it puts so much pressure on that T side, and if you lose the pistol rounds and you don't have the nades to take things like bananas in the middle, unfortunately, things will not go right for Ferrari Peekers. That's a good sign for Fierce as the hit comes out towards that B bomb site. KPs does get an additional frag, but the bomb will be planted now into this 2v1 after plant.
Loza getting up top, on top of the fountain. They might not expect this. The AWP of them in. Just getting lucky with that timing. Loza moving away, back towards Dark. Just as he was starting to peek up. Still going to trust if he can find an angle with this AWP, because if he can take this one player down, he buys himself a chance. But Emin expects it, shuts him down immediately, and Hype's going to get this defuse. Actually, Emin's going to sit the 10 seconds, so Hype can pick up the second AWP. And that way, it's a double AWP setup for the CTs in the next round regardless. A 4th on the board. The question is really, are they going to get reset again? Because that is the crucial thing that Fierce have been unable to do. They've been unable to string good rounds consecutively together. And with Ferrari Peekers still having a pretty decent economy, they're going to buy, obviously. It's all down to Fierce getting this next round.
Yeah, that round starting how it finished. Emin got that initial pick, as well as the final kill to get Fierce to their 4th round. Potential nightmare scenario hangs in sort of the balance here as Swaggy is actually going to go aggressive once again into middle. He's going to peek all the way down to T steps, but banana control being taken by the T side. They actually went for the boost and still not able to capitalize off that. And despite all these grenades being thrown, the smoke will be deployed to save that player at logs. And Ferrari Peekers, they're going to play things a little bit slower here as Fierce are starting to get a little bit more aggressive on that CT side. They're going to start holding these angles and allow Fierce to peer into them. And now,
this is ballsy. Emin. Oh, he lands the flick. Looks back in for a second. He can't quite do it. Bazan will get both players back. And yeah, they do hold the angles, as you were saying. Allow Ferrari Peekers to peek up. Try and prod the issue with a nice AWP duel that did go well, luckily for Emin. And yeah, Fierce, what a way to pick up a 5th.
Well, it's still not quite over yet, but that should at least make things a lot more awkward for Ferrari Peekers. Swaggy will actually get both kills on the edge of that smoke. And a fantastic job from Emin. He sort of lined it up using that shadow as his window of opportunity to land that initial flick shot. And Fierce do get a 2nd round in a row. They avoid that reset situation, but their economy is still kept a little bit low. It shouldn't matter in these last few rounds of the half, but potential for the last round to be a bit of a poor buy should things not go well for Fierce, and it's not started well for them.
This going aggressive with this sheer T-side aggression they got going up once again. No shots close to the heads. Luzza with the Tech 9. Did he see a gap? Surely he mustn't have done. Another kill coming through after the president position. K-Pits goes down.
No.
How have they picked this together? Ferrari Peekers in a 4v1 against Hype. This has truly been a disaster for the Fierce side. After they were doing so well, they strung together I think one of their first consecutive rounds of the match so far. And now it's all just gone completely wrong. I don't even know where to start breaking that whole thing down. First the Deagle shot, fair enough. Then the shot through the smoke. Then the engagement towards Banana. Like, that is not a round that should have gone that way, like, whatsoever.
Yeah, several duels being lost by the Fierce Esports side, and as a result, because their economy was kept low for those rounds that they won, they are put onto a save situation. So this should theoretically be a round in the bag of Ferrari Peekers, unless they somehow funnel themselves towards Hype's Mag 7, but so far they seem content to continue taking aggressive and adding control because they seem to be getting picks rather consistently. When they've been playing aggressively, when they've been playing in the B bomb site, the Fierce have been able to usually capitalize off that trade situation on those multiple angles, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Every time Fierce have gotten aggressive, they have almost always been punished at Banana.
Yeah, I mean, even when they had the map control already, you know, there was that one round where KPs was holding from the corner, and obviously Whisk went into peek and actually managed to out-peek him and get the kill. You know, every single time Fierce seems to go aggressive towards the they end up losing out in some way or some shape. And that's going to be a major problem going into this last round. I mean, it is the end of the CT side. The KPs, again, going aggressive, again, getting punished for it. Really, that's not the way that they want this CT side to go, unless they have a really dominant T side, in which case, well, fair play on losing the half, but you know, it's still Inferno, man. It's still relatively CT side in the general matter of how things go, and you know, UKCS and everything. That's only pretty much accentuated, but Emin now realizing there's players into the apartments. Flashbang, Adam and Dom will get taken back. So that's a 4 versus 3 scenario, at least gained by Fierce, but Whisk is also quick to trade. Can Emin get the trade back? No, he shoulder peeks here, giving a bit up with a bit of that information. It's swagging a man again, the man can again, but Whisk still kicking and screaming here on the A bomb site. In fact, he's opened up the A bomb site entirely.
Yeah, both those players committed to B, and now this should be a situation where they'll have to retake. Smoke will be deployed to cut off that rotation, but now that allows both the Ferrari Peekers players to reposition almost entirely. Swaggy will actually win the duel on short. That puts a lot of pressure onto Whisk in this 1 versus 2. He has to take a duel to start things off. The smoke will begin to fade, but we expect Fazan to walk through it and actually lands the flick at the end, converts the 1 versus 2. Fazan was low, but taken down to 5 HP. It came down to the slimmest of margins.
Damn, I spat my water out for that. Like, oh my word, Whisk. What was that flick? Instant spray, then instant transfer to the taps, and that's enough to bring a 10th for Ferrari Peekers at the turn of the half. What? Oh, gee, I'm still quite stunned at that. That's absolutely amazing, but it's going to be Ferrari Peekers now on the CT side. Fierce have got to come up by this one. This is a very weird buy, very utility heavy. There's only 2 players with Kevlar and a Tech 9 coming out for Hype. Surely that's a raid boss material. Fierce going to defend Ferrari Peekers, going to make it work regardless. KP with 2 and 3. Never mind, that's one way to shut me up. 5 versus 2, and surely nothing that Luz and Whisk can do from here.
That's a player that doesn't have any armor. He's just gone and swung with the use of that grenade smoke as well. I think he had trouble tracking him all the way through. Whisk crushed into this 1 versus 5. He will get the first 2 kills, but there's still so many more terrorists to find. There should be a kit that he can recover as well on the Ferrari Peeker side, and he's actually going to get hunted down. He lands the following shot. He's feeling crisp after that 1 versus 2 in that previous round, but has to do it once more. The ace clutch as we go on through, and Fazan, he's repositioned perfectly and allowed Whisk to peek into him. Fierce, they pick up the pistol round.
Although Whisk taking 3 players out on that, like 1v5. I gotta give him credit.
Yeah, that is scary.
That is scary. That is terrifying. You can tell Ferrari Peekers are in the zone right now. You know, some of the best in the UK scene, some of the most reputable names that we have around here, and it's just like, well, they are locked on, they are good. They didn't win that pistol, but they got pretty close to doing so, even from the most worst of odds possible. Fierce realised this in their own right. They're going to invest into 4 rifles. Just the 1 MP5 from Emin. Quickly taking 1 shot and then reloading it immediately, because that's how you keep the magazines in check. But for Ferrari Peekers, give me a little bit of information. Laza moving forward again a bit more. Hype. We'll shut him down immediately. We're seeing peeks towards the apartment, so they know where a couple more players might end up being. They are moving towards it. Whisk spotted. Adam low, still wins out a fight against Vazan here towards the banana position. If he gets that second frag up there, then that might end up being a little bit more trouble. The Fierce side would like to. Swaggy takes both players down. KPiz comes through onto Whisk, and it's all going to be left in a 1 versus 4. Dom with a USP. Might look for the one rifle for the Tech 9 as well. Happing spamming his way on through. Can't quite take KPiz. Can't get M and either. So I mean, we'll pick up that $600 kill eventually, and it will be 7 on the board for the T side.
Yeah, and because Ferrari Peakers, the new money bonus kind of coming into effect there, they did not invest into that previous round. They can now afford M4s, a fair bit of utility. They've not bought head armor so that they can get an additional flashbang or an additional smoke. And we'll see how they decide to use that utility. I doubt, based on the fact that they don't have as many Molotovs as they would like, they don't go for this aggressive banana control because Fierce should have all the utility that they can want, but they're going to try and walk around the smoke, and Adam capitalizes fully. He's not able to get away, but he at least opens things up nicely for them. The small disadvantage being that Ozzy is so low, but he's going to get boosted in CT and hope to mitigate that fact based on his position.
As you said, Fierce had all the utility they need to gain control of the banana position. Double nade down, take both Adam and Ozzy extremely low. 4 HP still remaining, a 4 versus 4. This is one in truth to the favour of Fierce. Haven't all gained everything though. They haven't got a whole lot of map control. They're going to start peeking in towards second mid and being careful around where the CTs might be lurking. I've seen a lot of presence in towards that banana position. It wouldn't surprise me if they decide to go pushing forward. Still going to let back 2 players towards the pit, try and cover off long and short from these angles. Bit of a difficult a spot to deal with, especially if you're trying to get towards the apartments, which fortunately Fears are not. 45 seconds left for them to make the move. The bomber's made its way up to top banana. 2 more players to join them. Got a smoke towards the cross, a smoke for coffins, another smoke to place wherever they want it to, maybe for the secondary smoke. Flashbangs to enter, but they're just going to start moving forward for the map control. Swaggy close, raises his way on through, takes a dink down on Lazar and looking back to it's still going to be Ozzy getting a frag, Lazar getting a trade back as well, holding things to a 3 versus 2. If he gets 1 more kill, this round surely should be over. He can't quite do it, so it will be a 2 versus 2. The retake as the bomb gets planted for Coffins. Whisk and Dom up against it here.
Ferrari Peakers, they do have a number of flashbangs that they can utilize. They're both coming in from different positions as well, so they are in prime locations to make full use of that bit of utility. But they're going to have to be very, very careful here as Pierce. They could have taken destruction aggressively. A duel will be exchanged, but ultimately KPiz will find the kill, and now it's just on to Dom. He has to try and win this out on the 1 versus 2 as it's a little bit too late to commit to the bomb. He will actually decide to fall back, and both those players playing that very, very well given the situation. Find that initial kill and then just hide. Use your position to your advantage, let the time run down, and Dom, because he didn't have a kit, wasn't able to commit for it. So Fierce, they hold back that gun round against Ferrari Peakers as we do move into round 19. An investment is not likely from Ferrari Peakers here, but they might buy down, sort of half buy down around that M4, and so if they can situate him into an advantageous position, that would definitely be beneficial for Ferrari Peakers, as we're going to see a bit more of the same from Fear. So we're going to try and take some banana control to slow things down as we do now move into this round.
As you say, CZs and Deagles, they can still do some damage here for the Ferrari Peaker side. 3 players on A, 2 over to the B-bomb site. And Fierce realizing that force buy might be a possibility. Fortunately, it's not going to be in this round. But they're going to play carefully around this to make sure that Ferrari Peakers aren't going to have that firepower they need. But even then, you know, with the half buy, they still have the firepower they need to potentially steal a round away if they play the positions right, and Fierce is getting caught off guard by whatever flashbangs that CT side want to throw at them. Only got so many here, so it's not going to be a major problem. But Fierce going to make sure all their bases are covered. And the first half of the round, just chilling out towards mid and second mid and in banana. Now I'm going to form up to go for the B hit once again. Gone successful for them so far throughout this T-side start. Ozzy can just try and reposition himself back on top of the first spot boost. Look in for an opener. Smoke goes down into, I believe that's actually a fake towards the long area, just that they can rotate in, but nope. Coming through. Adam goes down. Ozzy dead as well. Quickly overwhelming the B-bomb site. And this should be the 9th here for the Fierce side. Let's see what Ferrari Peakers could do on the retake.
If they get that kill on this player on Banana, if Titan does go down, then they should commit for this, or at least try and contain them in. But now that it was controlled, they'll try and fall back, and Laza has lost his life as well. Dom does still have that M4. He wasn't anywhere near his teammates, decided that the upgraded pistols. If they could potentially recover a rifle, it would have been advantageous for them, but if Dom holds on to this, then they can actually drop one of these players in the following round and potentially invest in an AWP on somebody else. The Fierce, they're going to be hot on the hunt. They're not going to want him to carry this forward, and it does seem like in this particular instance, I don't believe he's going to be met by any of them. Zan looking the wrong direction. He actually swaps out to the AK, and he does successfully stay alive. They fully invest in this round. Lazza back again with that AWP, and they should have all the utility necessary to go for some of these aggressive plays and actually take banana control, considering that they were so successful in taking that part of the map on their T-side.
I love that. You can turn off radio commands in the server, but it doesn't turn off the manual ones the players can do. So just getting interrupted by the SAS song is quite fun. 9 on the board for the Fierce side. Oh, the nades coming through from ferrari because though they're going to win out on the HP damage. Keeping the chance to take the opening frag, couldn't quite make it out. Lazza is going to read onto the position though and take him out instead. An advanced angle gone wrong for the Fierce side. Now Swaggy looking to try and challenge, trying to get some angles held down, but Lazza going to take him back once again with the AWP, looking around for the third frag, misses with the flashbang in the little quick close position. No scope will still drop that position down, and Aussie will clean things up with a 2K of his own. 11-9 now on the board for IPGers, scoring their first of this CT side.
Yeah, that's good signs of things to come from Lazza. We kind of hyped him up as a very, very good AWPer in this matchup, and if he's able to get 3 kills in these rounds, it's definitely going to be cause for concern on Fierce. In fact, they answer back with an ult of their own. It will be in the hands of Swaggy, Avi as well. They will go for more of the same. It seems like that is their default setup in these rounds. They're going to go for that aggressive banana control, but it seems like a set of nades has done significant damage.
It's all of the players that are up towards that banana position. Again, they've gone with a double nade stack, and Emin's paying the ultimate price for it. 30 HP. And he's the man taking point here for Fierce. This is a terrible, terrible idea. Got to get someone else up there. Swaggy will have with the orb. Flashbangs once again to try and force him out of position. Also, a couple of different footsteps. They may have heard that. They may be able to gather that 2 players are here. Maybe a third if that first one ticked by. Pink's coming through. Eventually going to get forced back, and Lazza going to find a different angle to work with this AWP, but certainly got the cross lock towards the sandbags. Still a minute to go for Fierce. Flashbang's being set up. Maybe Emma can set Swaggy up for the peak. Go towards it. Lazza ready for the shoulder bait. It's all going to come down to this opening frag, I think, here, Yumi. And actually, Swaggy can fall away because of it.
Yeah, not finding that player towards CT's point. In fact, Lazza gets smoked off of that very same angle that he was holding, and he will fire off a shot and reposition on that bomb site. So even if Fierce did commit towards B, they would have to still clear out every single angle possible. But they've walked themselves up through mid, and there's only 2 players on this A site. They do have a little bit of a crossfire here, but if that first player goes down in Dom, then he's in a terrible position. They're actually going to double face a bunch of these same 10 players, and Dom is converted on 2, but Wisp, he still sits at the box, and as the plant will go down, he should be able to deny it fully. Hype is the one to fall. Emin just left all alone this 1 versus 4. Will eventually in the pit, and ferrari Peakers, they get another round for themselves. They separate by 3 as Fierce Esports. They'll be able to muster a very weird buy, but I imagine they should save somewhat going into this next round. Yeah, Deagles and Tech9s, the right move here for Fierce Esports, and I'd imagine they go for a relatively fast pace here.
Eagles and Tech9. Lastly, the Tech9 take point. If there's Emin again with the nades for ferrari because they know exactly how they're going to play in this kind of a round. And Aussie is seeing his secondary flick. Actually, he might get overwhelmed by the pistols here. They do open things up, and they're going to go all the way around. Spawn. Lazza's going to get overwhelmed, but Adam's quick to recover. He shuts the players down towards church side on 2 fronts, as he will get taken down as well. So Fierce actually gaining quite a lot out of this one. The AWP, if it stays in play, is a massive pickup for the Fierce. So they're going to bomb plant, they get 3 players down. That's up to wear out the economy of ferrari Peakers. 2 players coming in from the same side. Emma can get even more done. Flashbang over, spots them both, misses the first, but now he knows he's got to worry about only 2 different fronts to the 3. Takes the peak, but can't take down Dom. So 28 HP, stays alive, should be able to get the defuse and the AWP recovered as well. 360 for good luck. 13 on the ball for ferrari Peakers. Again, Fierce can't be too fussed about that kind of a round. Lots of damage, bonus money. can't complain at all.
But that's extremely dangerous for Ferrari Peakers. Fierce have changed the pace up entirely. They've been playing slow so consistently through this T-side half so far. They get completely caught off guard. In fact, a few missed shots by Aussie. Adam has to really come in and save the day, getting that 3K with the AK in construction. If he doesn't get those frags, the round is almost surely lost. It thrust them into that 1 versus 2, and ultimately it came down to a 1-on-1 at the end of things. But Laza, at least this time with the AWP, will go aggressive and find an opening pick for the Ferrari Peaker side.
And again, Fierce losing 100 HP or more in the face towards Banana. It was mostly down to nade damage, but this time it's actually in a kill.
Yep.
Swaggy's dead. That's an opening frag, a player that can't frag anymore and do any more damage against the Ferrari Peaker squad. Laza realizing this, I mean, they know that they go towards that banana control every time. They can punish it so easy. Now Laza rotating, and they don't expect this all to be here. He's going to shut one more in the back, wait for more. He's got information onto the third. So Fierce really losing so much in these advanced peaks. Laza's going to look back in for the flick. 3 kills for the man, going in for more. Surely he can't land this, he won't. Hype will take him down finally, but Ferrari Peaker still have all the information they need. They know where the bomb is. It's been dropped by Adam. K-Biz, 1v4, no chance on that one.
Yeah, and it seems like on both sides of the map, when they played their CT side, they lost players consistently when going for like aggressive banana control. And similar stories seem to be on this T side. When Ferrari Peakers are going to take or contest for banana, Fierce almost always lose out in the HP exchanges, whether it be utility or in a kill, as you previously said. But Laza, he's going to try and rotate his position around the map with this AWP. Instead, it's a different default altogether from Fierce. They've actually run all the way through second middle, and Laza's got
Laza!
He's going home for the ace! Unable to land the no-scope at the end there. Fazan isn't left in this 1 versus 2. Has to convert the 1 versus 3. It's almost single-handedly won by Laza, but can Fazan recover this round for Fierce? And it's going to be traded out. Ferrari Peakers get to a 15th round. It's all off the back of a phenomenal play by Laza.
I wish we had a replay for that. Like, that is absolutely insane. The collateral, the first frag, the follow-up frag, and almost the ace for the man. Again, 1 bullet going astray was the difference between that being 3 players staying alive and a completely dominating performance, and that 1v2 clutch just going awry for the Fierce side. Either way, it will still be Ferrari Peakers 15-9. Map point and our fast map of the best of 3. We've still got 1 more coming up after this one, so it's not end of the world just yet for the Fierce side. I'll be curious to see if this was Ferrari Peaker's pick or for the Fierce's pick. I'm not sure if you have any insight on that particular one. We're still waiting for that information to come our way.
Yeah, we're still a bit unsure altogether, because both these teams will have a certain amount of strategies regardless, especially on a map like Inferno that is played so frequently, especially in the UK scene. That first pick going the way of Emin. Laza getting maybe a little bit too antsy. He's feeling confident. He's done so much for the side so far on CT. That will prompt a smoke from Dom, but it doesn't stop Emin from finding a frag with his own AWP. So Ferrari Peakers now have conceded the A site, but Swiss is still here in apartments. But K-Piz, he goes to check it, and that will be an instant save call by Ferrari Peakers, as the bomb should now be planted.
Yeah, Fierce going to stay alive in this one. Tries that they can go to 10-15, maybe even further than that. But it's quite curious that this is the first round that we've seen Ferrari Peakers really playing overly confident. You saw Laza, he went aggressive towards the mid position, looked towards T-side stairs, and then went to go a little bit further aggressive and go out towards the second mid position. Almost got the kill for it as well. But that's the overzealous nature of that CT side finding coming into fruition. And as well as that, it's in a round where they haven't even got a backup plan. It's not like they've got any extra economy to work with. They're going to be force playing in the next round, otherwise saving. And it's for that reason that maybe Fierce might have a bit more to bite off in this map. It's not over yet. We'll take a look at the money lines. We'll take a look at what the specifics of the buy-up will be. Fierce going to keep all 5 players alive. Maybe actually a few less. I was trying to hunt down these rifles. If they can take all 5 players out, that could be crucial. But Ozzy and Adam are going to stay alive. So, 6,000 for Laza. I imagine he might drop a rifle. They're going to get dropped rifles anyway, actually, so he might be able to get Ozzy up to this position. No, he's going for the AWP investment. This could be interesting. It all comes up to how much Ozzy is really required to do with that CZ. Most of the rifles should be able to play against him. And this is opening pick and goes to the favour of Wisp. Not quite. Laza will once again just move alongside the rest of his teammates. Go for an aggressive peek. It's going to all go so wrong. 2 for 1, 2 for 2. Adam trades, but traded right back. It's a 2v2, and again, it all rests on the M4 and that 1 CZ of the Ferrari Peakers.
An equal numbers exchange in that crucial point on Banana. The bomb should now be planted. Both smokes still up. As Risk, he's going to wait for his teammate to rendezvous up, and they're going to actually, I think they're setting themselves up for the boost, but the smoke's going to dissipate as they even consider it. Nubox has been spotted out. Whisk will take that opening engagement, in fact wins the duel, but the Molotov, as well as the spray coming out from Swaggy, pushes him away from his teammate, and as he goes to stick the defuse through that smoke, Dom will actually find the last kill, and Whisk gets the defuse in the end. 16-10 will be your first score on Inferno, as we should now move into a map 2 that we are still a bit uncertain of, but it was very back and forth. It came down to those individual plays.
Yeah, and it's curious.